Welcome back to BNB Spoilers channel. Today, we dive into the explosive choices facing Finn Finnegan and the unexpected power moves from Brooke Logan. As secrets threaten to unravel marriages and corporate takeovers, will the characters of The Bold and the Beautiful be able to navigate the chaos, or is disaster inevitable? Let's get into the drama. A chilling realization: Ridge Forrester stays cold toward Brooke despite Brooke Logan's relentless efforts to repair relationships and reclaim her place within Forrester Creations. Ridge Forrester remains as distant as ever. Time and time again, Brooke has attempted to bridge the gap, using every bit of charm and persuasion in her arsenal, but Ridge has yet to soften. Even as she provides him with updates from the office, optimistic reports on the shifts happening within Forrester Creations and her ongoing attempts to change Carter Walton's stance, Ridge's demeanor stays impassive. Brooke wants him to see her commitment, both to the company and to their connection, but Ridge is far from convinced. He listens, but his responses are clipped. The tension between them lingers, heavy and unresolved. Brooke is trying to push for a positive future, but Ridge isn't willing to entertain the idea of rekindling their romance. Their past is too complicated, and Ridge seems more focused on ensuring that Steffy can successfully reclaim power at Forrester Creations rather than on whatever future Brooke envisions for them. Brooke's battle for power, a bold attempt to shift Carter's perspective. As much as Brooke wants to mend things with Ridge, she has an even bigger mission at hand: turning Carter Walton against Steffy and undoing the LLC takeover. Carter has long been a devoted ally to the Forrester family, but Brooke knows that deep down, he has a conscience. That's the angle she's working. She believes that if she continues to chip away at his moral compass, she can make him realize that the power shift at Forrester isn't just bad for business, it's wrong. Carter, however, isn't so easily swayed. While Brooke argues that she's making progress, Ridge remains skeptical. He doubts Carter will abandon his loyalty to Steffy, especially since she has been actively pursuing the same strategy. If anyone can get through to Carter, Ridge is certain it will be his daughter, not Brooke. But Brooke isn't giving up. She is determined to break through to Carter, to appeal to his sense of justice and make him realize that the only way forward is to undo the power grab. Will she succeed, or is she underestimating the depth of Carter's commitment to Steffy's vision? Finn's impossible choice, a secret that could destroy his marriage. While Brooke fights her battle for power, Finn Finnegan faces a crisis of his own, one that could shake the very foundation of his marriage. The revelation of Luna Nozawa's true paternity has left Finn feeling like his entire world has been turned upside down. Learning that he is Luna's biological father has forced him to confront a heartbreaking reality, one where he was robbed of the chance to be part of his daughter's life. Had he known the truth earlier, could things have turned out differently? Could Luna have had a father figure to guide her, to prevent the reckless decisions that ultimately led to her downfall? These questions torment Finn, leaving him feeling betrayed and deeply unsettled. But now, Poppy Nozawa is pressuring him to keep quiet, urging him to bury the truth and move forward as if nothing has changed. She argues that revealing Luna's paternity will only bring unnecessary chaos, putting Finn's marriage to Steffy at risk. Poppy's desperation, a last-ditch effort to keep Finn silent. For Poppy, the stakes couldn't be higher. She has spent years constructing a version of reality where keeping Luna's true paternity a secret was the best choice. Now that the truth is out, she's doing everything in her power to ensure that it doesn't unravel her carefully crafted life. She pleads with Finn, insisting that Steffy will never forgive him if he tells her. The consequences, Poppy warns, will be catastrophic. If Finn wants to protect his family, if he wants to maintain the life he has built, then he must keep the secret between them. But Finn is torn. Keeping the truth hidden feels like another betrayal, another deception that could spiral out of control. And yet, telling Steffy will undoubtedly cause a rift between them, one that might never fully heal. Finn's moment of truth, will he risk everything? No matter what Finn chooses, his life is about to change. If he keeps quiet, he will be forced to live with the burden of deception, knowing that he is hiding something monumental from the woman he loves. The longer he keeps the truth from Steffy, the worse the fallout will be when she inevitably finds out. If he tells her, he risks blowing up his marriage. Steffy has endured countless betrayals in the past, and trust is not something she gives easily. Will she be able to forgive Finn for not only his past with Poppy but for keeping this secret from her? Either way, Finn is standing at a crossroads, and his next move will determine the course of his future. What comes next? Explosive drama on the horizon. With secrets threatening to surface, power struggles at Forrester Creations, and relationships teetering on the edge, The Bold and the Beautiful is heading into its most dramatic chapter yet. Will Brooke succeed in turning Carter against Steffy, or is she fighting a losing battle? Can Ridge ever soften toward Brooke, or is their relationship truly over? What will Finn decide? Will he keep Luna's paternity hidden, or will he risk everything to come clean? And if the truth does come out, how will Steffy react? Will this be the breaking point for her and Finn? One thing is for certain, secrets never stay buried for long in Los Angeles, and when they explode, the fallout is always devastating. Next, we unravel the latest power struggles, betrayals, and explosive secrets that are rocking The Bold and the Beautiful. With relationships strained, alliances shifting, and truths on the verge of being exposed, the drama has never been more intense. Let's break it all down. A confrontation in the CEO office. Carter feels the weight of his betrayal at Forrester Creations. Brooke Logan steps into the CEO office, her sharp gaze landing on Carter Walton, who is wrapping up a business call. She crosses her arms and studies him carefully before making a pointed remark. "You're getting pretty comfortable behind that desk, aren't you?" Carter, ever composed, leans back with confidence, explaining how much work he's put into expanding Forrester Creations. He takes pride in the deals he's secured, the new vision he's bringing to life, and the way the company is evolving under his leadership. But Brooke isn't just there to admire his accomplishments, she's there to challenge his conscience. "Any regrets?" she asks, her tone light but her words heavy. Carter pauses before responding. What does she mean? Brooke doesn't hesitate. "Ridge was your best friend. Was it worth it?" She doesn't stop there. She presses him about the human cost of his actions. The people he hurt, the betrayals he carried out. She demands to know how he feels about taking Forrester Creations away from the very people who once saw him as family. Carter shifts uncomfortably but stands by his decision. He argues that the old leadership was too blind to see the potential of his vision, that Steffy's deep-seated hatred for the Logans left him no choice. He believes that in the long run, his control over Forrester Creations will be a positive change. But Brooke isn't buying it. She calls it what it truly was, a coup. Now, as CEO, Brooke herself wonders if she has sacrificed too much for the sake of power. Her relationship with Ridge, her position in the family, was it all worth it? Carter studies her for a moment and smirks. "You mean your relationship with Ridge?" Steffy Forrester's frustration boils over while Brooke and Carter play their chess game at Forrester Creations. Steffy Forrester is fuming at the Forrester mansion. Walking into her parents' home, she finds Ridge and Taylor wrapped up in each other, sharing a moment of affection. But she doesn't have time for warm family reunions, her mind is elsewhere. Ridge, sensing his daughter's intensity, asks how things are going at Forrester. Steffy exhales deeply. She's doing her best to play nice with the traitors, but every day it gets harder. She can't stand what Carter has done, and it eats away at her that he seems to be moving forward with no remorse. Taylor, always the supportive mother, asks about Steffy's plans to regain control of the company. I'm still moving forward with it, Steffi confirms. But I have to attack from all sides. The anger in her voice is undeniable. She doesn't understand how Carter sleeps at night knowing what he's done. I have to believe that deep down, he knows what he did was wrong, she says, more to herself than anyone else. Ridge, always one to see things in black and white, scoffs. They stabbed us in the back. But Steffi isn't so sure Carter is as cold as he appears. What if Carter hasn't forgiven himself, she muses aloud. Ridge narrows his eyes. What are you saying? What are you thinking? Luna Nozawa's hidden presence at Bill Spencer's estate while power struggles rage at Forrester Creations, a secret bruise at Bill Spencer's mansion, one that could change everything if it gets out. Luna Nozawa, presumed to be in prison for faking a paternity test and deceiving Bill, is actually hidden away in his home, lying low and avoiding the consequences of her actions. As she hides, she overhears a conversation that sends shivers down her spine. Will Spencer, standing in the living room, talks to Elector Forrester about the scandal that rocked his family. He recounts how, for a brief time, Bill believed Luna was his daughter, how she manipulated a paternity test, and how everything came crashing down when the truth emerged. The girl my dad thought was his daughter wasn't really his, she faked it. Now she's in prison where she belongs, Will explains, shaking his head. Electra, always intrigued by juicy family drama, tilts her head. Wow, you almost had a sister. A sister who was a criminal, Will corrects, the bitterness clear in his voice. Electra leans in curiously. Who is she? Will barely hesitates before answering. Luna. Luna Nozawa. Luna, hiding nearby, suppresses a smirk. If only they knew. Finn Finnegan confronts Poppy Nozawa in a fiery showdown as all this unfolds. Another confrontation is brewing, one that has been long overdue. At his office, Finn Finnegan is livid, his frustration reaching a breaking point as he yells at Poppy Nozawa. The weight of her lies and deception crashes over him, and he can no longer contain his fury. You should have told me. Finn hollers, his voice filled with anger and betrayal. You robbed me, and you robbed Luna, too. Poppy, flustered and emotional, desperately tries to justify her actions. I never wanted to deprive either of you of anything, Finn, she insists. But Finn isn't buying it. His hands tighten into fists as he glares at her, his voice trembling with emotion. Well, you did, he spits. You had no right to do that. You denied me a relationship with my daughter. The words hang heavy in the air, a painful truth that neither of them can escape. Poppy's face crumbles with regret, but it's too late. The damage is done. Finn's life has been thrown into chaos, Luna's world is in shambles, and Steffi is growing suspicious of Carter's motives. Meanwhile, Brooke and Ridge's tension is at an all-time high, and Forrester Creations is still a battlefield. What happens next? A web of secrets ready to unravel. With emotions running high and power plays in full swing, The Bold and the Beautiful is gearing up for its next wave of chaos. Will Steffi's instincts about Carter be right? Could he be feeling guilt, or is he still committed to his takeover? Can Brooke manipulate Carter into second-guessing his choices, or will he double down on his loyalty to himself? Will Luna remain hidden, or is it only a matter of time before Bill's secret is exposed? And the biggest question of all, will Finn ever be able to forgive Poppy, or is this the final nail in their already fractured relationship? Next, we unravel one of the most shocking, heartbreaking, and controversial storylines to ever hit The Bold and the Beautiful. Finn Finnegan is reeling from the discovery of his daughter's true paternity, and his fury at Poppy Nozawa has reached an explosive boiling point. But has Finn gone too far? Or is Poppy truly to blame for Luna's downward spiral? Let's dive into the emotional wreckage and untangle the messy consequences of these secrets. The unraveling, a web of lies and betrayal. Secrets have always been the driving force behind the biggest shakeups in the bold and the beautiful, but few have been as devastating as this one. The revelation that Luna Nozawa is actually Finn Finnegan's biological daughter has rocked the Forrester and Spencer families to their core. For decades, Poppy kept this truth hidden, believing that she was protecting Finn from a burden he wasn't ready for. But now, that carefully constructed lie has crumbled, leaving nothing but destruction in its wake. Finn is furious, and understandably so. He built a life based on honesty, stability, and trust. He has a family of his own now, a wife who believes in him, and a career that defines him. But with the truth about Luna out in the open, all of that is now in jeopardy. Luna Nozawa, victim or villain? While Finn grapples with his anger, another question lingers in the air: what about Luna? Luna's past is murky at best. Once seen as a young woman with promise, she shocked everyone when she manipulated a paternity test to secure a cushy life with Bill Spencer. But that wasn't the worst of it. Her thirst for wealth, power, and validation led her down a dark path, one that resulted in 2 deaths and a series of crimes that shook everyone to their core. Now, with the truth of her paternity exposed, she's spinning a new narrative, one where she is the victim. She claims that her unstable childhood, filled with uncertainty and secrecy, pushed her to the edge. She argues that had she been raised in a more structured environment, she never would have made the choices she did. But is that the truth? Or is this just another manipulation tactic, another excuse to deflect responsibility for her actions? The reality is, Luna has never shown true remorse. Instead of taking full ownership of her crimes, she clings to justifications that paint her as a product of circumstance rather than a woman who made conscious, calculated choices. But can she really blame her mother for who she has become? The weight of a mother's choices. Poppy Nozawa's defense. Poppy Nozawa has always been a free spirit, an unconventional woman who never conformed to societal norms. She raised Luna the best way she knew how, shielding her from the truth of her father's identity while also trying to give her a sense of love and belonging. Did she make mistakes? Absolutely. But should she be blamed for Luna's descent into darkness? Poppy argues that keeping Finn in the dark wasn't about deception, it was about protection. She saw a young man with his entire future ahead of him, and she didn't want to derail his ambitions by saddling him with the responsibility of a child. But did she really have the right to make that decision for him? This is the heart of Finn's rage. He doesn't care that he was young. He doesn't care that it would have been difficult. What he cares about is that a fundamental truth was stolen from him, his right to be a father. And now, in his mind, that theft has cost him everything. Finn's fury, the breaking point. As the weight of this revelation sinks in, Finn finds himself consumed by emotions he can't control. He storms into his office, where Poppy stands nervously, sensing the impending explosion. Before she can speak, Finn unleashes his fury. "You should have told me," he bellows, his voice shaking with anger. "You robbed me, and you robbed Luna too." Poppy flinches, but stands her ground. "Finn, I never wanted to deprive you of anything," she insists, her voice tinged with desperation. But Finn is unmoved. His chest rises and falls rapidly, his hands clenching into fists at his sides. "Well, you did," he snaps. "You had no right to do that. You denied me a relationship with my daughter." The air between them crackles with tension. Poppy's eyes well with unshed tears, but she knows there's nothing she can say to fix this. For Finn, this isn't just about deception, it's about loss. The loss of time, the loss of memories, the loss of a chance to have been the father that Luna needed. And worst of all, he can't shake the horrifying thought that if he had been in Luna's life from the beginning, he could have saved her. blame and regret, a never-ending cycle. It's a brutal realization, one that Finn can't escape. Would Luna have turned out differently if he had been there? If he had guided her, given her stability, could she have been saved? It's a question that will haunt him forever. But is it really fair to lay all the blame at Poppy's feet? Poppy may have made a terrible mistake, but she didn't raise Luna to be a criminal. She didn't teach her to manipulate, to lie, to kill. Luna's actions were her own. So why is Finn so desperate to find someone to blame? The fallout, what happens next? With emotions running high, the aftermath of this revelation is bound to be explosive. Will Finn ever be able to forgive Poppy, or has their relationship been irreparably damaged? What will Steffy do when she finds out? Can their marriage survive this, or is this the breaking point? And what about Luna? Will she continue to manipulate those around her, or is there still a chance for redemption? One thing is certain, The Bold and the Beautiful is setting the stage for one of the most intense, emotional, and unpredictable storylines in its history. Secrets have been exposed, relationships have been fractured, and the fallout is just beginning. Stay tuned, B&B fans, because this storm is far from over. The drama is just getting started.